In this video, I'm going to talk about phishing a little bit, but mostly I'm going to talk about a code of ethics, because phishing is potentially a crime. If you try to steal somebody's information by sending them an email pretending to be somebody else, you can be definitely accused of a crime. Bad things can happen. So before we do this exercise and try to phish somebody, me in particular, phish the professor, I want to go over a code of ethics. So the EEC Council, they provide guidance on ethical hacking, penetration testing, security auditing, that sort of thing. So in this video, all I'm going to do is go over the code of ethics to reinforce the ideas that all of the activities that we should be doing should be conducted legally and following proper, not just legally, but ethically. You might do something that's legal but morally ambiguous. We don't want to be ambiguous. So here we're going to go over each of the points in the code of ethics. So we need to keep private and confidential information gained in your professional work. Now, your professional work as students is different. Here, if you're going to a client, you might discover employee social security numbers, addresses, things like that. You would want to keep all of that data private. You also want to protect the intellectual property of others. So if you find the schematics while you're doing a penetration test, while you're trying to test someone's security, and you find the blueprints to their brand new product that they're going to release, you don't go sell it to the highest bidder on the black market. If you find a potential danger, like if you find a security hole, it should be disclosed. You don't want to exploit it for malicious purposes. You should give somebody the heads up. Provide service in your areas of competence. Be honest and forthright about limitations in your experience and education. So this is an interesting one. If you don't know how to assess website security, and you go to a client and you tell them that, yeah, your website looks good, they might have a false sense of security. So we should be qualified. Never knowingly use software or process that is obtained or retained either illegally or unethically. So in this class, I do try to use free open source software to avoid you having to download anything suspicious or from a weird website. Do not engage in deceptive financial practices such as bribery, double billing, or other improper financial practices. So don't try to bribe me for grades. Use the property of a client or employer only in ways properly authorized with the owner's knowledge and consent. So this is, on campus, this would be like our acceptable use policy. You have to abide by the guidelines dictated in the student handbook, dictating what is okay, what is not okay. One of the biggest things that gets flagged here on campus is downloading copyrighted material. It's the most common reason people lose access to the network. Disclose conflicts of interest, doesn't really apply to us here. Ensure good management for any project you lead. Yeah, that's fine. Do good work. Add to the knowledge of the e-commerce profession by constant study. Share your experience, promote public awareness, that's all good stuff. Be ethical when seeking employment. Ensure ethical conduct and professional care at all times. Yep, sounds good. Don't associate with malicious hackers or engage in malicious activities. So this can kind of tarnish your reputation. And if you plan to work for a law enforcement agency at some point, you may have to take a polygraph where they might ask you about some of these activities. And if you admit, yeah, I tried to break into a bank one time just to see if I could, or I tried but was unsuccessful, or you lie about it and they find out, you can ruin your future employment opportunities. Do not purposefully compromise or allow the client organization system to be compromised in the course of your professional dealings. This might happen if you essentially make a security hole in their own system in the process of testing their security. That could lead other hackers to come in behind you and do worse stuff. Ensure all penetration testing activities are authorized and within legal limits. So being authorized, this authorization should be in written form. That's a key. Don't just take someone's word for it, like saying, oh yeah, you can test my system security, go for it. Then if you actually go and do it and something breaks, they come back and say, well, I never told you you could do that. You're in hot water unless you've got your written get out of jail free card. Do not take part in any black hat means malicious activity, or be associated with any black hat community that serves to endanger networks. So yeah, don't be a bad hacker. Don't be part of any underground hacking community for purposes of preaching and expanding black hat activities. Again, don't be a malicious hacker. Don't make inappropriate references to the certification or misleading use of certificates, marks, logos. Doesn't really apply to us here. And here's the last one. Yeah, don't commit any felonies, please. And obey the laws of the land. So when it comes to computer abuse, that's a big one. There's a lot of ways that just some innocent poking around can be misinterpreted as trying to break in. Like if you go to somebody's website and you try to log in with the admin account, just using the username admin and picking random passwords trying to log in, that could be misconstrued. So you definitely want to stay on the safe side. So in our activity in class, I'm going to ask you to send me a phishing email. So I am giving you written authorization to do this. So you can send the email to me and only me and spoof your identity, try to get information from me for the duration of this class activity. 2 years down the road, don't send me an email trying to phish me, please. I don't want to get that much email, first and foremost. But for this activity, gloves off. Use any method you want in class to send me an email. Try to be creative. If all else fails, there's a service that does work at emkei.cz. But that should be the last resort. Do some research. See if you can find a better way to send me a phishing email. After this is done, you will know how to send a phishing email. You will know how to spoof your email address and do some interesting stuff. Please do not use your knowledge for bad. Don't try to go spoof the registrar. Don't try to spoof the dean of students. Don't phish people unless you have written authorization to perform some sort of security test. That's my last note. All right, this should be fun. By the end of this activity, you'll be well on your way to being an ethical hacker.